Good evening, friends. My name is Rupak Banerjee and welcome to my channel, The Love of the Written Word. Today, I am going to share with you one of my other passion other than reading, but it is through reading. I love to travel and I love to travel a lot. And while traveling, I also love to read a lot. But today, I am going to share with you author who is famous the world over for his travel writing. My friend, I am talking about Bill Bryson. Bill Bryson is a dual citizen of Britain and USA. He was born in 1951 and he has made immense contribution towards travel writing. Bill Bryson has published around 17 books since 1995, and I happen to have almost 15 out of them. I love this author and his funny way of writing about travel. But the insightful way in which he puts his travelogues makes him a very, very dear author to me. You feel that you are traveling with him. He makes the reader a co-traveler. The three books that I don't have from Bill Bryson are the very first book that he wrote actually. The Palace and the Alps and other 200 other unusual, unspoiled and infrequently visited spots in 16 European countries. This is one book which was not well circulated and it is not in publication right now. Apart from this, another book that I don't have from Bill Bryson is The Body. I am looking forward to take it very soon. And the last book that I don't have from Bill Bryson is The Penguin Dictionary for Writers and Editors. Because neither I am a writer nor I am an editor, so I didn't find it necessary to bring that book into my list. Today, I will give you a brief about what are the books that I have read about Bill Bryson. Mark my word, he is a very, very good writer. The very first book that I am going to discuss is a book which was recommended to me by a second-hand book dealer in Kerala, in Ernakulam. The name of the book is A Walk in the Woods. In fact, a lot of you must have seen the movie by Robert Redford of the same name. So Bill Bryson came into prominence when he published his first travel writing book, The Lost Continent. But actual best-selling piece from Bill Bryson came when he published Notes from a Small Island in 1995. This book went on to become the best-selling travel book of all times. And as per a BBC poll, it became a book which represents Britain the best. Is Bill Bryson's classic Notes from a Small Island. As we all know, Bill Bryson, who was born in 1951, shifted with his wife to Britain in 1977. And after around 2 decades in Britain, he decided to move out of Britain once again and settle back in the United States. But before settling back in United States, he took a decision to move around for one last time across the breadth of this country, which he loved to call his second home, and to find out what actually made him love this country. Today the series is More Notes from a Small Island, or The Road to Little Dribbling. This is a book published on the 20th anniversary of the mega hit book Notes from a Small Country. So the Bryson line was traversed once again by Bill Bryson when he commemorated his first travel across Britain after 20 years. His writing is wondrously beautiful, magnificently eccentric, just like the country he traveled in. Even if you have never traveled in Britain, You will laugh out aloud, turning its pages, soaked in humor and candor. This book contains 26 chapters and it has had 476 pages. And I was lucky enough to get hold of this book for only rupees 100 from a second-hand bookshop. A hardcover which I had collected from Kerala in one of my book visits to Kerala. And this book contains two of his very famous and funny travelogues, The Lost Continent and Neither Here Nor There. It is actually The Lost Continent that was his first successful travel book, and in it he has penned the opening line, "I come from Des Moines, somebody had to." That made him very famous. This opening line has made him very famous. When Bill Bryson borrows his mother's car and goes on a magical trip across the country of his birth, the USA, and to visit those places which used to be magical during his childhood, what we get is this book, The Lost Continent. His account of this journey has become a classic, savagely funny and often unbearably poignant. In Neither Here or There, Nor There, in Neither Here Nor There, Bill Bryson is traveling to Europe along with his friend of Walk in the Woods, Stephen Katz, and he is traveling the breadth of the continent from Hammerfest to Istanbul. He is a hilarious guide dissecting peoples and cultures with a scalpel, sharp wit. Let me tell you, friends, these books are not snigger funny, but the big belly laugh funny. So you will actually laugh out aloud while reading this book. Exploding much of America's self-created self-image, Bill Bryson demythologizes his native land, explaining how a dusty desert hamlet with neither woods nor holly turned out to be Hollywood. 21 chapters and 431 pages of tremendously sassy work full of zip, pizzas, and all other great American qualities. The book you would like to read to learn about the American way of life. In this book, Bill Bryson turns away from the highways and byways of Middle America, hilariously depicted in his best-selling Lost Continent, for a fast, exhilarating ride along the Route 66 of American language and popular culture. This is a brilliantly readable biography of our greatest poet and dramatist, William Shakespeare. Examining centuries of myths, half-truths, and downright lies, Bill Bryson tries to make sense of the man behind the masterpieces. In a journey through the streets of Shakespeare's time, he brings to life the hubbub of Elizabethan England and a host of characters in the way. Stitching together information from a vast array of sources, he has created a unique celebration of one of the most significant and least understood character of our history. A classic Bill Bryson book, William Shakespeare. I wish I had a teacher like Bill Bryson for science when I was in school. Because if something like this was given to me during my school days to study science, I would have surely scored much higher than what I have scored now. This book, my friend, is a short history of nearly everything. And this has got more than 4 different awards for science writing. Bill Bryson, I'm telling you, is not a scientist. He's a journalist and an author who specializes in travel writing. But when he turns to writing for science, he creates an amazing picture. Bill Bryson actually describes himself as a reluctant traveler. But when he is staying at the safety of his home, still he cannot contain his quest for knowledge for everything that is happening around him. This book is a result of his quest for what has happened in this earth, starting from the Big Bang till the rise of the civilization. This is the ultimate eye opening journey through time and space, revealing the world in a way most of us has never seen before. The next book is Bill Bryson's African Diary. This book has a CARE logo mentioned over here, and it also mentions at the back that all the profits out of the royalties from this book, or the profit made by the publisher out of the sales of this book, will go to CARE. Bill Bryson was invited to Kenya by CARE International, and in this book, Bill Bryson travels for the first time to the Dark Continent. Kenya, as it is regarded as the cradle of humankind, is a land of contrast, with famous game reserves, stunning landscapes, and a vibrant cultural tradition. It also provides plenty of worry to the traveler like Bill Bryson, who is always fixated on the dangers of travel to a territory which is infested by snakes, big predators, and insects. Traveling around the country, Bryson casts his inimitable eye on the continent new to him, and the resultant diary, though a little thin in comparison to his other books, contains the trademark Bryson stamp of wry observation and curious insight. This book, unlike all other Bryson books, is not so funny in its nature, but it brings out the human face of the author, who tries to portray the trouble and trials of the people of Africa in his book. Bill Bryson and travel goes together. Even if he is not traveling in the literal sense, he is time traveling. So this is exactly what he does in his memoir, The Life and Times of the Thunderbolt Kid. Travels through my childhood. Bill Bryson in this book takes you to the America of 1950s, when he was an ordinary kid growing up in America. And America at that time was a very happy place to be. Everything was nice, even DDT, cigarettes, and nuclear fallout. And it is a very common story with a lot of pictures thrown around. But in Bryson's hands, it becomes everyone's story, one that will speak volumes, especially to anyone who has ever been young. Not only fascinating, but extremely funny. This is what Mother Tongue by Bill Bryson is all about. Across the world, more than 300 million people speak English. And the rest, it sometimes seems, try to. In this hymn to Mother Tongue, Bill Bryson examines how a language which has been treated for centuries as an inadequate and second-rate tongue of the peasants has now become the undisputed global language. He explores how words like shampoo has come into our dictionary. He also explores the countless varieties of English, starting from American to Australian, with entertaining sections on oddities of swearing and spelling. Mother Tongue is one of the most stimulating books yet written on the endlessly engrossing subject. Divided into 17 chapters, these 255 pages paperback will give you a surprise on every page, and it is a goldmine of English language anecdote. Or you are cursed with an uncontrollable outbreak of commas, or are wondering if that newsreader was correct in saying an historic day. This is the superb book where you have to find it. In this book, Troublesome Words, Bill Bryson moves out of his safe zone of travel and treads the path of a journalist who knows his English. But he doesn't waver out of his wit. In this book, you talk about what is the difference between mean and median, or blatant and flagrant, flout and flaunt. With this book, Bill Bryson gives a clear, concise, and entertaining guide to the problem of English usage and spelling. In the next book that I would like to share with you is One Summer, America 1927 by Bill Bryson. In 1927, America had a booming stock market, a president who barely worked for 4 hours and slept for almost the rest of the day, a devastating flood of the Mississippi, a sensational murder, and an unknown aviator named Charles Lindbergh, who went on to become the most famous man on earth. It was this summer that saw the birth of talking pictures, the invention of television, the reign of terror of Al Capone, and an almost impossible amount of more. In these 632 pages of 7 chapters, Bill Bryson captures and spins a story of brawling adventure, reckless optimism, and delirious energy. My friends, this is a book worth reading if you want to know what America and American lifestyle is all about. And it takes a lot of courage to write humorously about a place which can kill you very nastily in many ways than anywhere across the world. So this is what Bill Bryson wrote about Down Under, Australia. Is Notes from a Big Country, published by Doubleday in 1998. This book talks about Bill Bryson's experience after he has returned from the UK, from Britain, after 20 years in Britain, and once he rediscovers his homeland in a new light. So this actually includes 18 months of weekly columns written by Bill Bryson. And this has 318 pages and 78 columns written by him. A gem of a book to discover the American way of life. No, I am not trying to show that I am very strong in lifting weights, but I am trying to show to you the contribution of one specific purchase to my entire Bill Bryson collection. All these 4 books, friends, I collected in one outing, and it was from Calicut. During my days in South India, I happened to visit one of the old bookshops, second-hand bookshops of Calicut. And I found by that time my Ernakulam bookseller had already initiated me into Bill Bryson through the walk in the woods. And I was looking for Bill Bryson books. And what I found, all these 4 books which contained 5 of his works together. The bargain, only 200 rupees. It was a lucky day, and I was happy that I didn't buy a lottery ticket, but I got these books. So that brings me to the end of this video blog on Bill Bryson. Bill Bryson is one of my favorite non-fiction author because he helps me in living the passion that I love, travel. And I always love to read his books because it's always full of candor and it is always very funny. And it is a small life that we all have. So let us lead it with laughter and love and fun. So that's it all from my side. If you happen to like my video, so kindly give your comments, and I would almost request to subscribe to my channel. And also please do give your comments how I can further develop my presentation, and what are the different other genres that you love or like, which I may also share in the near future. Till then, goodbye, keep safe and stay safe.